guys, my name is Attorney Walter, if not the third. I just wanted to go through something real quick with you about immigrant status. There's been a lot of aggressive comments specifically towards me about immigrants and what's going on right now. And I've been seeing this significantly from South American/Latino-based individuals who have been picking on me as not knowing their shoes because I am a white person. And I just wanted to point out something really important real quick. I am probably very similar to when your grandparents came over here as an immigrant status. And I still have people that are in foreign countries that were not able to come over and then chose to stay based on whatever their living situations were that are related to me. So what I want to go into real quick is the Afghan situation. But if you don't want to listen to me because I am white, even though I'm probably more closer to immigration status for naturalization than you are, that's fine. I'm cool. I got it. When I read the messages and I saw how aggressive a lot of you guys were and how some of the death threat thingies that you guys were doing, specifically about how I don't understand the border situation and stuff like that, that's fine. Just realize I am a survivor from those people who literally would be murdered in World War II, which is not long ago. But that's okay. If you don't want to hear about that or care about that, that's fine. I totally understand that. Let's talk about Afghanistan-based immigrants real quick. We have two options as a country. We can either not do anything or do something. And I just want to point something out real quick. The issue with not doing something and bringing these Afghan-based individuals over, these immigrants, is that we are missing an opportunity. A lot of you guys say, oh, culturally they're too different. Culturally they're just out there. We can never assimilate them into our way of life. It's BS, because we all know everybody in this country, in America, has their own cultural identity, their own historical background. We all seem to get along. So if you think that because somebody comes from a Muslim background in Afghanistan that they are going to be so different, then you're not really paying attention to the news, because the news is all about loss of women's rights and how angry the Afghan women are. And that sounds a lot more like American culture in them than the Afghanistan culture when the Taliban was in power 21 years ago. So I just want to point out real quick, the argument that we should not be bringing over Afghanistan-based individuals because the culture is too different, they would never be able to assimilate, is just false. We were there as a country for 21 years. They are more Americanized than they ever were. They want that culture. They want to have the opportunity to earn a living wage, to have a future, to ignite a fire in an industry that only they could be innovative in some unique way because of their brain. They want that opportunity. So do we want these individuals? Can they assimilate? I think, yeah. And here's why. America needs more people to make enough work product. Specifically, white individuals, Caucasian, do not have enough kids now. And because they don't have enough kids, we're seeing a decline in basically the work product potential of growth that we need as a country to continue to grow. Because you need more people to keep working and paying tax dollars, keep making products for exports, etc., to continue to be the greatest country in the world, at least financially. So supplementing that with other individuals is something that we need to look at. Now, the people on the right would say, oh, the left is just bringing in people because they're vote farming. And the people on the left would say about the right, well, they just want people coming in to work on their farms and make more, get the oranges to make more orange juice, etc. Both are true. Both are true about both political parties. But in the middle of those two groups, you have to understand that we need immigrants to be able to survive as a nation. And the color of their skin is less important than basically their ability to make work product that's taxable. And so at the end of the day, I just want to point out that for a lot of you guys that were very aggressively against the immigrants coming in, America traditionally has not been good at basically the second part of having an immigrant come over. First part is you get them to the United States, you get them set up with the basic legal principles to get rolling. The second part is funding them to get set up to actually have a positive future. Now America is super doing that because they are massively paying them. In many sorts, they're giving them enough benefits to go ahead and have more benefits than those receiving Social Security disability benefits or retirement benefits on even the higher levels. And a lot of people are really, really angry about that because they're like, we can't afford that. And you're right, we actually can't afford that. Medicare is going to be running out very soon. They came out with a report which I think is a little bit, I just mathematically don't agree with it, but they came out with a report about when some of the bigger trust funds are going to be running out. Although then they published an article about the combining of those two trust funds, because now they're starting to play the game, right? How do we make this not look so bad? They're separate. And if you combine them, then they can say, oh, well, we're borrowing from this one to make this one happen, I would like you to understand that we don't really have two great choices. We can either leave Afghanistan-based individuals in Afghanistan, and the problem with that ideology is that they then get converted into basically people who are waiting to die or terrorists, right? And a lot of people are angry about, well, look at the 90 billion, whatever it is, dollars of U.S. arms gear, whether it's military, naval, whatever that they have. How could we leave that there? Well, and we know the story is that the Afghans did not want to fight that war. And the problem is this. Let's say that America didn't leave a single piece of military weaponry there. Let's hypothetically say they didn't leave a single piece of military gear there. China and Russia would give those weapons to them. They would. They've allied with them. They would. Because they, Afghanistan, through the Taliban, become the side guy for these other mega countries. And the side guy can go and do things that China can't do. So the problem is not that they have weaponry in, the short term from the U.S., because a lot of the U.S. stuff is going to break, and then parts are going to have to be there, and they'll get parts for some, but they won't be able to get parts for everything. So at the end of the day, what this kind of comes down to, I know some of you guys are like, oh, well, they'll just make the part for the guns. Yeah, sure, but they're not going to be doing that for the high-end electronics that some of this weaponry has, The big stuff, they're not going to be able to repair. So I guess my point to you is this, and then there's another issue too, which is that the Afghani people, the immigrants coming to the United States, a lot of them are disabled. So many little wars here and there. They're missing arms. Eyesight is limited. Hearing's limited. They've been beaten so many times. They have traumatic brain injuries. A significant amount of the population of Afghanistan is disabled. That's just the truth. It is what it is. They don't have the same car insurance that you do. Just putting that out there. So my point to you is, I guess what I'm saying is, for those individuals, and it was really coming from the Latino base of the people who watch my channel, and I'm hoping this video will change your mind to consider just being open-minded to listening to somebody who is a different skin color, because some of the comments that were left were fuck awful. I mean, they were just like, wow. And there was so much hatred in the writings. I got emails to the law firm from some of you guys, and I was just like, whoa. The back office forwarded it to me, and they're like, is this YouTube channel even worth it, And I guess if I can have a moment of your attention, it's really important that you understand the following. Everybody likes to say, well, you don't know what it's like to be in my shoes. That's true. Nobody knows what it's like to be in your shoes. But everybody's real quick to then just say, screw you, as opposed to presenting a side that the other person might have not heard of. And I know a lot of people say, well, they won't care. But the truth of the matter is this: if a person doesn't really care, they wouldn't be angry to begin with what you're telling them, right? Those people that were saying me those mean, things, the comments and stuff like that, they really cared. And that's why I'm making this video, because I think the problem that a lot of people see, and I even had some individuals saying, like, we need to bring the people from South America here first. They were the ones that were supposed to come here before the Afghanistan-based people. They have more of a right than the Afghanistan people. They don't. They all have the equal right to have the potential to come to this country. That's the whole point of immigration, right? We can't just pick and choose people because of the skin color that they have, or that they were on a path to come in here and they're a border country. Even there's Mexico there, but point is, other than South America. But the point is, like, if I could just get you to think, if you get really angry about it, you actually might care about it. If you really care about it, you might want to go ahead and research it enough to have like 10 bullet points as to why it's a good idea, why we should have something. and then be able to present them in a calm and relaxed manner, because nobody can fight and win a battle with somebody verbally when they're screaming at them. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So my suggestion to you guys is you can either allow Afghanistan-based individuals to come to this country and for us to fund them for a little while for them to get their feet on the ground. I know we can't afford it, but if we can't afford it, it's much still cheaper than essentially option B, which is allowing them to become terrorized and converted into basically those who will hurt America in a much worse way. Let's think about those options, right? And then somebody in the corner will be, well, that makes them have a higher right to come here than, people from South America, because they could potentially, fall into the hands of terrorism. No, everybody outside of the U.S. and in the U.S. in some situations has the potential of falling into the hands of terrorist-based interactions. South America has lots of drug dealers, drug cartels. They have their own problems. Same with Mexico. So same as America. So the point I'm just trying to share with you guys is a little bit different side of things. And I know that America likes to be like the card puller, right? Here's my African American card, so I can use this word. Here's my Latino card, so I can use this word. Here's my Caucasian card, so I can use this word, right? It is that mentality that has ruined our ability to communicate about race. And the sad thing about it is that people always throw around this ideology of like, oh, that person's a Nazi. It's a socialist extreme. Most of you don't really know what a Nazi is or was and why they were so absolutely horrific. It wasn't their socialism that was absolutely horrific. It wasn't that, and as they portray them in movies, it wasn't that they were just bumbling idiots. That's what Hollywood always produces, for Nazi-based individuals, that they were just these laughable, they're idiots. They weren't. They were a collective of, at that time and place, some of the smartest people on Earth. They were creating science that we had never seen before. They were creating weapons that were far better than anybody else had. It was a miracle that Einstein tipped off the President of the United States to get them working on the nuclear bomb. Because otherwise, it would have been tricky to continue to fight against, basically, the axis of evil. That is a moment in time where if it went the other way, you wouldn't have this YouTube channel. You wouldn't. You wouldn't have any of the knowledge I've given you, other than to have to try and find it through some other means. And I think I make it the easiest way to find it out of most people. And I guess my point to you is this. We do need immigrants to make more financially valid and taxable work product. We can't compete against China without it. We can't compete against Russia without it. I mean, we can compete against Russia, but we can't compete against China without it. China is starting to outpace us over and over and over again. We are a free country. China is almost bringing back these formulaic approaches like they had in ancient Egypt. Not good. And I want to point something out to you. Free nations should always win. Afghanistan is not a free nation now. China is not a free nation. The innovation, creativity, and hard work that comes from a free nation is what made America the best of the best of the best. That, and also with all the wars we were in, other than the Civil War, we really didn't have, and some earlier and things like that, but we didn't have our cities destroyed and our plants destroyed and our warehouses destroyed. But the one big thing that destroyed them, in the sense of they're no longer here, is that we sent all that over to China for work product to be made, essentially, and products in general, cheaper. And now China is exporting and sending that work to essentially Africa. And Africa has had trillions of dollars put into its economy in building warehouses and production manufacturing businesses from China. So I guess what I'm saying to you guys is, just as a thought, think about what we need as a country. You know that phrase, don't think of what your country can do for you, think about what you can do for your country. We're getting to that point. And I know the blinded billionaires are pushing this like, we're going to get a check, or this is what's coming up, or they release this new information. Wow, LA Late is going, wow. And I get that. And I understand that sells a lot more. and he makes more money than my entire law firm. I almost guarantee you, I can't say de facto he does, but I can almost guarantee you that he makes more money than my law firm. And my law firm has a lot of people. It's just that when you work SSI claims, a lot of homeless-based claims, it doesn't make a lot of money. And then on top of that, he doesn't have employees like I have to have, and he doesn't have to have all these supplies and computer systems and this and that I have to have, a high monthly, amount. So, I can almost certainly say he almost certainly does make more than me, a lawyer, who went through all the education, an MBA, a Juris Doctorate, all that stuff. I can almost certainly say that he makes more, both gross and net. And I guess what I would say to you is this. If you don't want to listen to other people about solutions, then you'll never be a great lawyer. And even if you don't want to be a great lawyer and you just want to live in your own little world and think that one thing, then stop having conversations with people about it, because you've already decided exactly where you're going to sit. And just remember, you're right in your own mind today, but tomorrow things could change slightly and then you'd be horribly wrong. Just be open. Be open is, I guess, what I'm saying. All right? Have an absolutely wonderful day. Attorney Walter Knott. I hope all's well, and I'll catch you a little bit later. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.